Hi, happy Saturday. Thanks for coming across my video. This is going to be an interesting vlog about what city planning is. I'm going to take you through a public engagement workshop that we're having today to learn more about what it's like on a day-to-day when you are a city planner. So a little bit about me. My name is Ibrahim. I'm doing a master's in planning at the University of Calgary, and I'm very close to graduating. Got 2 months left. But this is a career that not many people know about. So I wanted to make this video today to educate the public and let them know what it means to be a city planner and if this is the right career for you. So this video is going to be sectioned off into 4 different components. First, I'm going to talk about what city planning is, and then I'm going to take you to a public engagement workshop that's happening here today live in a neighborhood that me and my classmates have organized. And then I'm gonna take you to a park where my partner and I have created a tactical urbanism project, which explains the pink. I know it's so pink. And finally, I'll give you some concluding thoughts. So you're gonna hear different words like urban, urbanism, and rural, and city planning. So urban planner, city planner, town planner, rural planner, planner in general. And all these words are, I guess there's no one single definition for what an urban planner is, but I would just describe it as a city visionary. We look at how a city operates and see what it could become in a 10, 20, 30-year timeline. So what is city planning? Well, first, let's talk about you. Why do you live in a city? Did you grow up here? Did you move here? Did you come because of a job? Or do you like it here because it's close to the mountains, for example? There are many different things about why people live in cities. So our job as city planners is to make your life easier. We need to figure out how things operate, whether that's services, whether that's transportation, offering houses for people, offering jobs for people. There are many different things that one city planner can concentrate on. So where do city planners work? Well, city planners can work in the public realm. That's where we work with the city to guide it and give it direction as to where it should be headed in the 10, 20-year timeline. We look at what's existing, what's happening, whether we're looking at something like a park or the downtown area, how to activate it more, or even in the suburban areas. And then we're gonna write policies or write laws to give that vision or give it direction as to where to go. You can also work in the private realm, where you will be a consultant. You will provide service for those who come to you, and normally it will be developers. They will they'll approach a consultant and ask them to create an application that could be approved by the city to develop in a certain area, whether that's outside of the city, on a new land that hasn't been built up yet, or it can be inside the city where it's already been developed, but it's looking old and it needs renewal. And you can either focus on a single parcel or a single plot of land, or on a community scale, on a neighborhood scale. And finally, you can work with developers internally to also give them direction as to how to proceed with their business operations. You can also find outliers in city planners where they would be working in real estate, or they would be working in government, or they are now the leaders trying to be city councilors, or even above and beyond that. All right, so let me bring up some examples here. So if you look right here, this here is a neighborhood, and we've clearly identified some different types of improvement in this area. Here's a master plan too, where we are now, if you could see over here, this is like the existing area, and now we are creating a new type of vision as what should be in this community. So, obviously, if I were to describe city planners as well, we focus on managing the land, making sure that the land is being used appropriately to the best of its ability, and obviously relating that to the existing context and what's there and how to improve that existing state. Okay. All right, so we're taking off right now. We're going to the public engagement workshop, but first I want to introduce to you my partner here. What's your name?
I'm Zachary.
Zachary, okay. And why do you want to become a city planner?
Well, I want to become a city planner because I want to make people's lives better for a long time, and I think shaping the built environment, shaping our cities is the way to do that.
That's a perfect response. And right now I was just telling them I was going to go into the pros and cons about city planning. The first thing I wanted to talk about was probably the job market. We live in like a 1.6 million person city, and to be honest with you, I think that there is probably like 3,000 city planners.
Probably less than that.
Less than that.
Yeah.
And then there's probably like 1,000 city planner jobs, maybe. Probably less than that too.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm trying to say here is that the job market is pretty stable because there's not that much competition. So I think you're bound to find a job, even if that means you have to leave for a little bit. Another pro about city planning is the fact that it's a very interdisciplinary field. You don't need to study city planning to become a city planner. And to be honest, I don't even know if you need like a master's. You don't need a master's. Maybe you don't even need a bachelor's. Like if you're working in the city and you learn about the logistics and the operations behind that, you can build a network to actually find yourself working with city planners and eventually becoming a city planner yourself. So that's what I like about it. What other pros are there?
Yeah, I think the ability to network across many different professions. You meet with different members of the municipal government, different members of real estate industry, construction industry. So you build a very big network and take advantage of that when you develop your projects.
Yeah, that's a good point. Also, I wanted to say that you're always working on a different thing, like a different project. Every day it's different. You're tackling a different part of the city, different type of challenge. You're always just tackling challenges and finding solutions for it. So it's a very good field like that. Let's talk about the cons. So here's the thing that I noticed, Zach, is that I don't think there's that much education about what city planning is in North America. I think it's a fairly new field, and so whenever people hear about, hey, something is happening in the neighborhood, they're like what are you talking about? You're coming here and you're gonna change things and destroy things and replace it? Like, we're good right now, you know? So I feel like education is our primary focus as city planners, and to advocate for this field, really. That's, I think, one of the biggest challenges.
And just awareness of what planners do.
Mm-hmm.
I think the general public, they have really no idea what an urban planner really is.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the architect is something that is so mythologized and romanticized in culture. Why can't the planner be the same way?
That's a good point. Yeah, I think where I grew up in Saudi Arabia, I think it's either architects or engineers handling all the logistics behind infrastructure. Mm-hmm. When really, there are other people who would be better specialized in that realm, which is us. So yeah. I think that's a con. And then another con is that it's a very much a customer focused role. So you are dealing with people, whether that's residents, whether that's city council, whether that's developers. So there's some challenges there where it's they don't want something, but you're like, this is the best option, but they're like, well, we don't want it that way, we're paying you. So how do you balance that? How do you have that communicate, that conversation where you find the best solution for everyone, especially if it's a challenge that's involving many different parties. Yeah, you agree?
I agree.
Agree. Perfect. Yeah. And then another con, I'm just gonna talk about this just a little bit, is salary. I think when you work in the city, it's a very consistent salary. It's not a con, actually, it's a very good thing too. But that means that you are being paid from the taxpayer money. So you're not gonna expect a significant boost or rise in salary if you're chasing money. In the private realm, it might be different. I'm not too sure about that. What do you think?
Start out with a lower pay than public side, but you have the benefit or the potential of getting something much higher with time, but it takes many years of experience.
Yeah. And people that work in the city, they stay there for a very long time. So when you want to compete for a new role, like, you have to wait it out, I guess, in the car. Okay. So we're at the Taste Factory right now. Sir. Okay, we're getting some dessert and some samosas for our public engagement event. So, hi, how are you doing? We ordered yesterday some milk cake by Ibrahim.
Just give me
Okay. So it's really important as planners, city planners, to have public engagement events, right? To educate the public and let them know what's going on, right? So the best way to bring people to an event like this is to offer free food. So we're hoping that this will bring some people out. Because the last time we had a workshop, we had 0 people come. And so me and Zach, we've gone through and delivered flyers to 100 different houses. So hopefully we'll get some turnout. And if not, then, students always eating, so they'll eat everything. Oh, Zach, I want to ask you, what do you think the qualities of being a good urban planner are? So for me, I think the most important thing is to understand the individual needs of a single person, and then understand the community needs and find that link. But what do you think as a candidate, as a person, as a perspective in city planning? Like, how do you think he becomes a good city planner?
I think you've touched on a good point. It's the balance between the individual needs of people and the greater public interest.
Yeah.
Right? Yes, planning in North America right now is tied to land, so we have to do with land what we can to influence the social outcomes for people.
Yeah. So I feel like there are like several qualities, probably, or characteristics that would make you shine in this world. I think you have to be pretty good at talking. If you want to go and join public speaking organizations, learn how to speak, learn how to remove, when you're dealing with difficult people, you have to understand that you have to remove emotional needs and their emotional perspective and focus on the logic, focus on what's being proposed and where their difficulty is. You got to be good at mapping. We love maps. Maps are really good in this field. So from a technical perspective, ArcGIS, Adobe software, what else?
AutoCAD, 3D modeling software.
3D modeling, those are pretty good. You should practice those softwares. What else? Oh, good at writing. There's a lot of writing going on. ChatGPT is going to be your worst enemy and your best friend, because it gives you that direction, but then you need to understand the local context and figure out how to link it to like other policy documents or things like that. Anything else?
You gotta be a good listener.
Good listener. We got 2 ears for a reason, and only one mouth. So you gotta be a good listener. Good point. Yeah. Anything else?
That's it.
That's it. It's very easy. You know, focus on customer service. If you work at Walmart, that's a good way to becoming a good city planner. Really? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we are outside of the Falcon Ridge Castle Ridge Community Center, Community Association. This is where we will be doing our public engagement workshop. So what is public engagement? Really, it's about getting as many people involved in a procedure or a project that you are working on. You want to engage them. You want to advocate for what you're doing and have them give you their insights or their experience on whatever you are trying to show them. So our engagement for today is focusing on the Falcon Ridge, Castle Ridge neighborhood, and we are designing a new master plan, a new development for the entire neighborhood. I mean, some people chose to focus on specific things, and some people chose to focus on the entire neighborhood, like what we do. So let me show you what's over here. What's happening here right now is tactical urbanism. This was the third process of what I was going to show you in this video here. So what is tactical urbanism? Tactical urbanism is a physical temporary intervention that brings attention to a certain space, to a certain topic that you want to talk about. So I'm not sure what's happening here, but Zach and I, we are in the pink. We're calling ourselves the Pink Boys, and this is Nicole. What we've done in the neighborhood is we actually decided to close off a park, to act like scary developers by going to a certain park in the neighborhood and putting flags all around it, putting ribbons around the trees, putting, what else did we do?
We did fences at all the entrances.
Fences at all the entrances. We really wanted to gain attention in that space. And so we thought the best way to do it is to actually scare the public, to make them angry, because unfortunately, most public engagement happens when someone has something to complain about. Not necessarily to come and give you positive feedback on what you're doing, which is unfortunate, but it's also good because it gives you insight on how to improve. So just in case, it's not about the public being misinformed. It's really about actually knowing how to inform the public, and that way they'll come and they'll say what they have to say to you, and then there's a good conversation back and forth between you as the facilitator, you as the engager, and them as the facilitated, or them as the engaged. So I'll take you inside. Right now we were supposed to set up at 12, but for 1 p.m. But unfortunately the room is booked up and we have to enter at 1. So hopefully we'll have that transition between everyone coming into the room and us setting up as quickly as possible. So I'll keep you updated. Okay, so we are at the open house. It's looking good. This was the entire neighborhood. We have our tactical urbanism projects. I'll show that in a bit. Pink flags. Hi. Yeah, so it's going pretty well. I think our flyers have actually brought out some turnout, so I'm glad for that. There's us, the pink. Okay, so I'm gonna take you through just a little bit of an introduction, right? So site introductions over here, right? So what we do in urban planning is we identify the roads, we identify certain services like train stations, parks, schools, different things. Here's like a commercial area, here's the police. We got to figure out how to really bring in services to a neighborhood and then maintain that and understand how to accommodate growth in the area. So you'll find maps that you use like land use, understanding the land, maybe building heights up to 4 stories, 3 stories, You'll be making graphics sometimes. If you're in urban design, these are very urban design focused. So urban planners don't really focus on making these graphics. They would bring in people from outside and have them do that for you, or like consultants or in the private realm. In the public, you would focus on just the general maps, so mobility and open spaces, covering stuff like that. Okay, so here's a summary. There's some positives and negatives. This is student stuff, but even in professional setting, you still have to understand what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses, opportunities and threats. Kind of understand a community's identity, their language, income, population percentage. Let's keep going. Multiculturalism. You also got to think about traffic and safety as well. Understanding that. So, community engagement is very important. As you can see, there's a lot going on. You always have to engage the community when you come up for a vision. So, you also have to understand the history of things as well. How did the community establish? What was the process? How did the city establish? So right now, in this project, we focused on a community. But you can focus on an individual site, one location, something like this, one location, or on a big scale like this, or even on a city scale. So lots of different graphics. So this planning program is a very design focused program. They love their artwork, they love their graphics, but city planners aren't always doing that. Hi.
What's up, Ibrahim?
What is your favorite thing about being a city planner?
I'll let you know when I have a job.
I'm not a planner yet, but
Okay.
my favorite thing about this project is having actual interaction with the public and getting to hear their stories and getting to hear their input on our projects that we can actually address these concerns of the people.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's great hearing from people. Everyone's been so nice. We just talked to a couple who came out because of Ibrahim's park closure. They were so upset. They wanted to see what was going on here. She's like, yeah, Ibrahim. We were talking to Ibrahim when he was closing the park down.
Yeah, so that was the Tactical Urbanism project. I'll explain that in a bit, what we did. But yeah, they really went above and beyond, made a 3D rendering software of their work, which is crazy. Very good job, guys.
Do you want to see this?
Yeah. Let's see. I don't know if it's.
So one of our interventions involves upgrading one of these parks.
Okay.
It's currently a cement cul-de-sac. There's nothing there.
Okay.
We want to put something on it.
Okay.
So if you could choose cooking area, community garden, or playground, what would you like to see on a currently vacant space?
I would like to see a cooking area.
Okay, so we'll go in here with the iPad.
Okay.
We'll do a scan. Open this up. We'll bring it over here.
All right.
It's loading. You can see Field Design. That's us.
Okay.
Give it a minute here.
FJELD.
Yeah, it's Norwegian.
Ah, field. Okay. Nice.
Okay, continue.
Continue.
We're about to see some stuff. So let's go over here.
All right.
Open space.
Wait, where are you going?
So we'll just kind of we'll kind of place that right there.
Okay.
And now we're walking around the cooking shelter.
Oh,
Go
damn.
over here. See, there's cooking shelter. There's above us. You can see there's some picnic benches, some tables, full 360.
That's amazing.
Little fire pit.
Oh my God.
So this would be what the site would look like. It's currently cement. There's nothing there. It's a cement pad.
Yeah.
That's what we could put there. This is real scale, by the way.
Wow.
We can walk around, look under stuff.
Can I sit down on one?
Try to sit down on the bench, yeah.
I can't do it.
That's that, yeah.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
Nice. Good job. Awesome. Okay. So let's talk about now the tactical urbanism stuff. So you can see in these pictures here, this is a project focused on lighting, right? I told you that it was a temporary physical intervention, made sure to bring attention to a certain space. So where they put their location, I think this is the LRT. So the train station's over here. So they put their lights all over the community while they're envisioning different types of development happening in this area. So right now, this is the area, and so they're envisioning different things over here. Okay, that goes from here. It transitions from like being like this to being something like this. Okay, very nice. Lots of statistics. You have to understand statistics, visioning. And the thing about planning projects in general is it takes time. It takes a lot of time to get things done. Like for us, this was a project that took us 4 months. So I can't even imagine on a city scale, when you're taking on a project that involves lots of public engagement, how long that would take. Normally, I think projects take from 1 year to 2 years time. This right here is another cool project. I have no idea what's happening, to be honest, but they went crazy with it. Okay, let's look at this. Why am I here? Take a seat and find out. Okay. I don't know what's going on. I don't want to take up too much time. I hope you're enjoying, but like I think there's lots of things that we have to cover. Now I want to tell you about the most important thing in planning. Everything in planning, everything in the world really revolves around money. So when you have these projects, you envision these projects, it's all about investments. So I want to show you, as students, we wanted to be very ambitious with our project. Me and my partner, we wanted to completely revamp the neighborhood. So if you see here, this was our analysis of the neighborhood. You can see all these single unit homes, free unit homes, like they're all single family homes, right? Here's the commercial area. You can tell by the building footprint is much bigger. This is an industrial warehouse. This is the train stations over here. This is like a giant train station renovation hub, and here's the police station. So when you think about the stuff here, like for example this and this cannot be changed, but could this area be improved? Well, we did something crazy. First of all, here's an analysis, breaking it down, understanding the commercial area, understanding the green space network, understanding how people move around, circulation. So look at this crazy thing. It went from single-family homes to all being multi-family units. Oh my God. When you have this engagement, we had some people come here. The first thing they ask is, where is my house? That's the first thing they ask. And then they start to try to figure out, okay, how do I benefit from this? What am I doing? Am I being kicked out of my neighborhood? So we told them that this would be a 50-year timeline. Obviously, there's so much to consider, so many different things. We wanted to phase it out. So we go from 2025 shooting to 2040, first starting at the commercial areas, then expanding on the spine, expanding on that major road, then going in and expanding on the bus routes over here, and some areas over here. This is by 2055, and then by 2070 we cover in the center areas. So all these homes are now turning into multifamily with parks in the center, parks that have different types of activities. So we have activity parks that could be soccer fields, something else. Services could be like local coffee shops or something, and then parks that are just more quiet. The problem here is this is insanely ambitious. The money that has to go into this, you have to understand what it costs, what the property value is, how can you sell it off to a developer who wants to gain by now building up a multifamily home. So much money is involved. Is it feasible? Are we kicking people out to do this? It's crazy. So for here, we designed the entire thing. You can see all of these are now multifamily units, and then the surrounding is still single family. So would this be a community planned neighborhood that just focuses on multifamily and the rest is still single? Or do you now change this to accommodate for both? Because to do something like this cannot actually happen in the real world. But we're students, so we get that excuse. We put some of these graphics too. So let's go talk about our tactical urbanism. So obviously, first off, what's really important in public engagement workshops is you need to have more of an interactive element. So what we did was we had a card game where we played different kind of, we asked them different questions like how would you typically move around in this block? Bring out like D3 for example, so D3 is right here. So now they have to answer what kind of movement are they doing in this area, right? You want to get that while everyone that attends an engagement session, they come in with an individual perspective and you have a community vision. You have to find that balance between understanding their needs and then understanding how that could contribute to an entire system. So now to our tactical urbanism project. What we did was something crazy. We had 0 people, we had 0 people come to our last workshop. So what me and my partner did was we decided to scare the people, conserve or redevelop. We wanted to completely tackle on this park because our focus was around parks in the first place, right? Like this entire thing was focused around parks. So we wanted to focus here around this area and figure out how to bring attention to our vision for the community. So we put around pink flags all over the roads over here, and then inside we had let me go over here actually. So we put up signs beside the park saying, did you know from this spot it's a maybe 3-minute walk, 5-minute walk from this park. Follow the flags. And then over here we try to like bring attention by 2 different phases, saying something is happening in your neighborhood, just to bring that attention to our project. So coming over here, this was the first phase, navigation and awareness, putting up those pink flags, putting up the signs, giving out flyers. And the second one, we put a center sign saying conserve or redevelop. We want to hear from you. We put ribbons around the trees to scare people to think that we're going to cut them down. We put fences to block off entrances. We didn't really block it off. It was just enough to like show them what's happening. We gave out different flyers to people. So here were the signs that we put up. And here is today's community. So how do we change that and go into something like this? It was a very crazy conversation that we're having with people. So we're gonna have to definitely go back and revamp our master plan, figure out what people want, what do they need, and then how can we tailor it for a future of this neighborhood within a 50-year timeline. Shooting for 50 years is a very big step, and to do that, we still need to balance the existing conditions of the neighborhood, understand the people that live there, and then how you can accommodate for future growth in 50 years. Zach, do you have anything you want to say about this event or anything in general?
It's been great. We've had good engagement today, so I'm very happy.
Yeah, it was really great. Anyway, thanks for being with me. I'll have maybe some concluding thoughts at the end. And yeah, this was great. All right, so that was an incredible event. I think about maybe 20 people came out or something. Maybe less, maybe more, who knows. It was a 2-hour event. It was great, incredible. So I want to show you now part of the tactical urbanism that we've been doing. So the park is still away from me, but it's also windy. But we're at a school and we put the sign saying, did you know from this spot it's a 3-minute walk to the Castle Ridge ornamental green space. And we had these put down here going straight to the park that way. I'm gonna take this down now. We're over, and I'll show you how it looks like at the park. Okay, we're entering the park. So there's some, as you can see, put some ribbons along the trees, and then our sign got pushed over, maybe from the wind. But there's Zach bringing in one of the signs that we put on the side. But yeah, overall, great project. I feel like some of the flags were taken, or maybe just blown in the wind. And that's part of the engagement process, you know? Like, obviously, you're gonna bring a lot of attention. There was some kids. Yes, let me show you right here. Some kids took our flags and they turned it into a soccer field. So that was awesome. And then, yeah, I think that sign got pushed over at the back over there. Yeah, so overall it's pretty great. Let's go over here. Here it is. Conserve or redevelop. Anyway, so it was a great final project for the semester. Can't wait to graduate and get into the workforce. I'll have some concluding thoughts after this. So let's just talk about concluding thoughts about city planning. So first of all, this is a great field. I hope those who are watching, whether you are just getting into your journey, your career finding journey, or you already established your journey and you're thinking about switching, city planning is the right place for you to be in. City planning really gains whenever there is a new city planner in that field. Always things to be learned about. There's so much research that could be done, and it's just an interesting, expanding, growing field. For those that are in city planning already and figuring out what kind of concentration they want to focus on, first of all, doing advanced studies is a great way to expand your knowledge, gain skills that you haven't learned before. That's one. And then two, always try different things. I mean, if you are in the public realm, then you have very easy ability to switch between departments. Same thing even in private. You can actually just reach out to other people on your team and ask what they're doing and participate in other projects. That way you just figure out exactly how you want to orient your career path. So all in all, this was great. Please reach out to me, let me know what kind of videos you'd like to see next. I think what I'm gonna do is take this master plan and actually approach a developer and interview a developer and figure out what are the logistics behind creating a community like the one that we proposed. How much is it going to cost? What is the conflicting reasons behind economics, really, and understanding how economics ties into everything and finances. But if you have other ideas, like maybe interviewing city council or going into an office and understanding how it looks like from a day-to-day perspective, let me know in the comments and reach out to me as well. I'm always willing to talk. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a lovely day.